Hey everyone, welcome back. Now, of course, in front of here, see I have the 64.5 Mustang hardtop box here. So, of course, this means another update. Now, of course, with this, it's pretty much calling it good enough for the model, as got pretty much all built up, ready to go. Um, Hang on a moment. Yeah, so pretty much been at it for perhaps way longer than realistically should, or at least should have been taken for the car in question. As got it right, yep, just right here, all put together. Now, of course, the wheels and tire. First of all, wheels and tires here were from that the originally a monogram 1/16 scale Firebird kit. Of course, put the Goodyear tires that came off this kit for the car, which think they I think they look pretty good with it. Now, when messing around with it, couldn't really get the hood to fit quite right when it was closed, so basically went ahead, used the hinges, kept it to keep it propped up for display. So yeah, then of course using the single tail lights on the back. Yeah, nice little. Pretty much turned out pretty good. There are a couple few imperfections on the paint that are a bit more difficult to see on camera, so not too disappointed. Though, of course, one the big thing is that because with the doors being a separate piece, you do have quite the panel gaps between the fenders and the door itself, primarily on here, as like to get the interior to fit in, it has to be very precise. So don't doesn't really quite fit all that well, but it's good enough for like can have it on a shelf display, like have it at a certain angle where it looks a bit more representable. So yeah, of course, like also too, got the engine. Now not sure whatever happened to it, but I was playing around, messing around with it, putting the distributor in, putting the plug wires, as was playing around wiring up the engine to maximize on the detail, but ended up putting it somewhere and no idea where it went, so basically just threw everything together. Put the engine in. If I find the distributor, I'll put that in later. But for the time being, it's pretty much has to be good enough for now, as otherwise I'll be working on this for another couple months. And by that time I'd probably end up moving on to another project or so. Yeah. So overall quite pleased with how it turned out, and I do think that with the lace rims on this teal green slash blue paint job, I feel like it does have quite a nice charm to it. How it's like not quite like base model spec, but not too overly flashy. Yeah, and of course underneath nothing too crazy. Like got the stability sway bars all painted up in accenting color. Bell housing in a silver finish. Of course, left the transmission standard blue, and got the dual exhausts going out through the back with painted up fuel tank. Then, of course, interior. It's got the folding seats, and a little bit hard to tell, but did go with the custom steering wheel, the gauge cluster package, and the sport shifter, which overall looks quite nice. Yeah. So overall, quite pleased with how this turned out. Now, of course, I there's a few aspects on it where I feel as though I could probably do it a bit differently than perhaps I did it on here. So, of course, there's the recent re-release that came out about a month or two ago, which, of course, the 1/16 scale kit here will be, yeah, it's out. It has another release, in which of course been first time in quite a while. So that being said, I might end up wanting to get another one, so can feel like I feel as though I should be able to do one a bit better. As one thing I did find out was once I was putting it together, actually I'll show you on here how, in order for the wheels and tires to stick on, I have your standard wheel backings with the metal axle going through. Just glue those onto the backing plate of the rims of the Revell monogram kit, as otherwise stand from normal it wouldn't work that way, and the axles are way too short to shove through all the way through the axles. Or yeah, the axle's too short to shove in through the wheels, so need a little bit of creativity there. A little bit might be able to see a little bit on the back. Yeah, so there's that. Though of course didn't really realize this until I had everything together, that I probably should have grabbed like thinner wheel backings, as the tires do rub up against the fender well, which does prevent the front subframe from properly fitting to the body. So the frame does a little bit hard to tell, but the frame does sit way lower on the body than it's supposed to. But it's some of those compromises that you have to make sometimes just to get something to look somewhat representable. Though from the back, use the taller leaf springs, so pretty much at stock height you can get away with it. Now, of course, the fun thing about this is that making sure everything is nice and square to each other, as end up having it where you glue the tires or you glue the wheel backs on and you put the axle through. It might fit nicely, but if you end up leaving it for some time, the glue might come unsettled and start to cause the tire to tilt. So overall, there's a pretty much a good learning experience, and even though it took me pretty much like an entire year to build this, I do feel as though it came out quite nicely, and probably go on display sometime. Yeah, sometime right here. Pretty much gotta find space for much larger model, but of course, like I've worked on a few 1/16 scale kits before, so it's nothing too complex, and I'm sure finding space for this won't be the worst thing imaginable. Of course, just move a few things over, and then of course got the pretty much had this finished up for quite some time now. You do have quite a considerable size difference between the 1/24 and 1/16 scale version. Of course, this one here is the monogram Mustang pace car convertible. Let's put that away. So, yeah, that's pretty much how this turned out. So also so that's pretty much it, and yeah, pretty much gonna be it for updates, and probably not sure what I'm gonna do for a next series build. Though probably be sometime in the new year. Get a project that's going to need that'll take some time, and that's got some time, and then put to good use. So yeah, it's overall pretty good. And kind of a little bit as a side note, actually, with the topic of Mustangs, I'll just put this to the side for right now. I do have the didn't find this quite recently, the Revell Metal Body Series 68 Ford Mustang, representing the car from Steve McQueen as Bullet. So, which is this has been something I've been looking for quite some time now, as usually when you find the Bullet kits, it's almost always the Charger kits, as they weren't they were I feel as though they were more there's more of a made that, or either because the Mustang is much more of a popular piece, these ones don't come up for sale that often, and when they do, they fetch pretty good money. Though, fortunately for myself, got this at quite a reasonable price, and by reasonable I mean like pretty much under the $40 mark, which for a metal model isn't bad. So yeah, if anything, might end up building this up eventually, or if anything, might just keep it in the package for quite some time. Which I also do have the Revell plastic model version, which is also a 68 Mustang. But of course, like the 2-in-1 between a stock Mustang and a GT race car. So if anything, might end up building that also into a Bullet Tribute replica. So, yeah. So overall, that's pretty much something else to pretty much something neat that added to the collection recently. So yeah. So a couple little things here and there, which of course this being a quick, so pretty much ended up as a quick little video showing what's been going on. So yeah, that though of course that yeah. That being said, they'll probably do it. They'll probably do it for this video. So yeah, see what else. Got a few other ideas on the go, and pretty much want to finish some stuff up before the New Year's hits, which is coming up quite quickly. So yeah, of course, that being said, that'll be it for this video. And so, yes, see you next time.